All right, everybody, you are looking at my 2018 Harley Davidson Road King classic style, which I like over the special. And I had a little bit of time tonight. I thought I would show you around the bike, show you some of the accessories I've added. There's quite a bit I've done to this bike. There's only a few things left that I'm actually going to do, at least in the foreseeable future, because I've put quite a bit into this. But this is a great bike. I love the Harley Davidson Road King. I like the classic style of it, as you can see. I love that there is no huge fairing, not a lot of distraction up in the front of the bike. Big, huge, clear windshield, which you can take off, by the way. And it's such a great bike. And I don't know that I would buy this as an only bike, but man, if I just want to get out on the road, do some heavy cruising, and not be distracted by huge fairing and GPS, sound system, such like that, this is the bike I ride. I have a couple of other bikes that don't have as much technology as well, but there's nothing like riding on a Road King. Man, what a great bike. So I'm going to take you on a little bit of a tour. So this came with the 107 Harley Davidson Milwaukee 8 engine. And it has the Stage 3 upgrade as well as the improved oil pump. Now, if you know anything about the Milwaukee 8 and the pre-2020 Milwaukee 8s, you'll know that the oil pump is not very good. Do you have to change it? No. Should you change it? Yes. I would either upgrade it to the 2020 Plus components. It's the exact same chassis and everything. It all fits together. Or do like I'm doing on the Ultra Limited, which is get the Screaming Eagle components. So either one will give you a better oil cooling, oil movement experience, and it will improve performance and improve the longevity of your bike. So this one has the upgrade. It is the 2020 components that were added. So this does not have the Screaming Eagle oil pump upgrade, but it does have the newer components. So in 2020, they made the changes that fixed it. So any Milwaukee 8s prior to 2020, you may want to consider that. Okay, so Stage 3. I also have the S&S exhaust on this guy, which in my opinion is one of the best sounding exhausts for Harley Davidson, especially the Milwaukee 8. Love it, love the V-twin sound. It's not over aggressive at all, which is really nice, and has a great rumble when you're kind of just cruising, but when you really hit the gas, it lights up. It's great. So what have I not added that I will add? So let me share that with you a little bit. So these shifter pegs are the stock shifter pegs right here. And I'm not a big fan of this kind of cheap plasticky, so I'm upgrading these, already ordered them. Also, the speedometer I upgraded to have the tachometer as well and the larger LCD. So that's coming. That's kind of a plug and play, easy to swap. And then I'm also adding the heel guard on the right side to prevent my shoes, boots, whatever, from hitting the hot exhaust. I haven't had a problem yet, but every once in a while I bump into it, so I just want to make sure that I don't melt my shoes on top of my exhaust, so getting the heel guard. After that, this is done for now. So I think I've gotten everything that I feel like I want, at least for now, and hopefully won't have to add too much more, because it costs a lot of money. As you know, you can sink a lot of money into these bikes. You don't have to, but most people prefer to, and I am one of those people. So let's do a little tour of some of the things I've got. So those of you who know the Road King know that this does not come with the Road King. This is the plastic fairing lowers. Got them on both sides, which has the little push button glove box. It has the little pocket right here, and there's like a felt kind of interior, which, by the way, that costs extra. Thank you, Harley Davidson, for trying to make more money. Why would you want to buy that with a big, huge, open plastic cavity? I would think that you would want to have that in there. Okay, and then I got the Harley Davidson highway pegs, and because I have these fairings, the lower fairings, Had to get this bracket that kind of brings this out and puts the bolt to tighten it on the outside. The cool side effect of that is it actually brings it a little closer and at a better angle for me. I actually prefer it. Normally you would just put a bracket and this would probably just come out right here. But because it's a little more forward, it actually works better for me, so I like it. What else do I have over here? Obviously, you probably see that. Those are additional Harley-Davidson fog lights. So I'm on a chair and I'm kind of rolling around. Got one on either side, of course. And those throw a ton of light. They have individual switches on the handlebars, which I'll show you. And this kind of has a fog light and a high beam. I don't turn these on at all unless I'm kind of on a dark road and I have nobody in front of me, because they throw a ton of light. And since we're talking about light, here is all the Custom Dynamics lights. This is the dynamic one, so it actually shines more light into your corner as you turn. Then of course the LED passing lights. Now I chose to keep what they call the pancake housing, which is the original housing. They have non-LED lights when you buy the bike, but you can get inserts, which these are, and they're white, and then they turn orange when they are in turn signal mode. So I decided I like the classic look of them, so I left that. Also in the back you'll see. So yeah, these are great. Love these lights. Such a difference, literally night and day difference with these Custom Dynamics. There are other brands of lights out there for Harley-Davidson, but Custom Dynamics, really good lights, and very reliable, lifetime guarantee, love it. In addition to that, since I'm up here, there's this little plastic piece. It's kind of hard to see, but this was added, and if you're familiar with these kinds of bikes, the air coming from underneath the bike, coming up past the gas tank, even around the side of the bike, tends to flow up and buffet your head. So you get a lot of buffeting going on. And there's a lot of negative pressure on the inside of your windshield. So in order to help balance kind of some of that pressure, you can add these little wings that go on the forks. Now Harley, and there's other brands that sell ones that are longer, but because I have these lower fairings, I couldn't get them. And so I got these. Actually, I'll show you from the Ultra Limited. I'm also going to add these. It's similar. These go on the Ultra Limited. But here's the guy. He makes these. Here's the website right there, if you can read it, hopefully. GADS, and it's the GlideAirDeflectorSystem.com. And his website's kind of not the best in the world, but it does the job. And boy, those have made a huge difference. As well as, you can't see it right now, but there's another deflector that goes between the forks that stops the air from flowing up this way, up the tank. So between that deflector and this deflector, balancing some of the pressure, it's nearly taken all of the buffeting away. So I'm doing the same thing on my Ultra Limited, although it's a little different deflector that goes on the side, a little more work. Haven't done that yet, but if you're interested in those, look at that website and take a look. They're really easy to install, and he's got them for all kinds of models of Harley-Davidson. So take a look at those. Those really help. Okay, moving on up, I got the F4 Customs windshield right here, which is really awesome. Love it. Love F4 Customs. Got the tinted one, 22-inch. I think that's the tallest. I still look over it, which is nice. But this is a great windshield, and I like F4 Customs mainly because it's scratch resistance. So if you clean it a lot like I do, they tend to get scratched and dull. These do not. And they're great windshields. I would highly recommend F4 Customs. They're awesome. Let's see, what else did I put on here? Oh, you can't see it, but down here is the oil cooler, and I have a fan that I added to it. So now there's an oil cooler fan as well. And here is that deflector that I told you about that goes between the forks. Real easy. You just take one of these screws off on either end, put this in there, put those screws back in there, and you're good to go. So between that and these deflectors right here, boy, it gives you a lot of great smooth air behind the windshield, so that's awesome. Okay, what else? Let's see here. Oh, mid-frame fan right here. This is a great addition as well. So what it does is it takes the heat coming from the engine and throws it down away from the passenger and away from you. I think they call that the cool flow fan. It comes with a different air deflector there that's a little shorter, so it works with the fan. And there's a switch right here for auto on or off. I usually just leave it on auto and let it determine, which is pretty soon after the bike starts running. And it turns on when you're kind of sitting around. It doesn't turn on when you're at high speed because obviously you have enough wind. But that's what that switch is for. All right, what else we got? We got the Harley iPhone / cell phone, whatever you want to call it, carrier right there. Jury's out on whether I want to keep that. I use other devices on my other bikes, but this one came with it when I bought it. This bike was used, and I like it. It works. You know, it's not as nice and clean as the other ones, but we'll see. Also changed out the grips on this. I think it matches this better. The normal material is this. It's all this rubber stuff right here all the way around when you get them from factory, but I like kind of this. It's not really chrome, it's kind of a brushed metal, which I really like. Obviously they're heated, as you can see. Here is the switch for the auxiliary lights. So these are the fog lights on the bottom and then the high beams. I tell you what, when you turn both of these on plus the front lights, and they're independent. So whatever I do with these do not affect this, and whatever I do with this do not affect those. And boy, you put a lot of light out front. You are not gonna miss seeing things with all of the light put on. So if you're thinking about that, it's on the Harley website. It's an accessory, works really well, and I love it. Obviously got the little windshield bag there, and then another one of my favorite little things are these mirrors that have the wide angle part of it as well. These are Harley mirrors. I don't know what they're called, but they work really well. So if you want to get a little bit of a wide angle right there, get these mirrors. They'll give you that wide angle, of course. Then we've got the Corbin seat, which is really nice. I'm a big fan of Corbin, but I also like Mustang, and there's a couple of other brands that are really good. So I got the backrest. This thing is adjustable. I pretty much have it where I like it, and fits me really well. It gives me about an inch when in my normal seating position, and I can lean back about an inch, maybe an inch and a half, which is about as far back as I want to lean. So heated seat, the front and back are both heated. They have individual switches, which is really good. Also added some various bags, like this guy on this side. The one on the other side has a water bottle. This flips open and you can put stuff inside of there. Got the luggage and the liners for inside of here as well. And then moving to the back of the unit, got the aftermarket Harley Davidson luggage rack right there with the brake light. And then you can see that I've got the custom dynamics lights there. These guys, again, I kept the pancake inserts and then just got the custom dynamic inserts and the custom dynamic light. So when I hit the brake, it flashes 3 times just to make sure people are paying attention. Doesn't always work, but you know, whatever. I want as much visibility as possible. And if you have a keen eye, you'll see that I have remote reservoirs here for the Legends suspension, the Legends Arc suspension. It's their top of the line non-air suspension, and gives you preload compression and also rebound control, which is really nice. I have these tuned in really good, and then obviously I had to complement it with the front fork as well. So the forks are, at least the insides are, the spring and the cartridge are also Legends. So really good, love it. I got this extra big backrest here in case my wife wants to go with me. Usually I'm pretty much solo on this bike. She prefers riding on some of the other bikes like the Goldwing, but if I ever get her on a ride on this one, she's got plenty of nice little cushion right there. Then, last but not least, I added the XK Glow kit, which there's a little button back here, and you can kind of see it a little bit. I'm not really blingy, but I want to have some visibility from the side, so I added these lights. It looks a little blue in the camera here, but it's supposed to be white. And you can see underneath there's a little glow as well. So there's 4 strips underneath, and then there's 6 little pods, which are real small, like an inch wide lights that are mounted in here. So Nice thing is these run on just the battery, so you can have it parked and have it, which kind of looks good. You have an app on your phone that allows you to switch the patterns and do different things on it. In Illinois, you're not allowed to ride with it flashing. It has to be kind of a solid color, and it can't be red. I think you can do blue, but it cannot be red, like police car red, policeman red, for obvious reasons. And you definitely don't want it switching between red and blue. That wouldn't be good. So anyway, I just keep it on when I want to be seen at night, so when it gets dark out, I flip those on. It's not, again, not to be blingy, it's just to add some light. Now, some things I'm considering actually is changing these out. Custom Dynamics has a light kit that changes these on either side, as well as the fork reflectors. So that may be a project for next year, just to add additional light on the side. Just love the visibility. I'm also thinking about doing it on my Ultra Limited, which is sitting right over there, just minding its own business. So this is the Harley Davidson 2018 Road King. Doesn't look any different than the 2019, 2020, 21, 22. Beautiful bike. If you're into kind of the no nonsense, no frills riding experience, and you love Harley Davidson, this is a great bike. And if you're going to do a lot of touring. If you're not going to do a lot of touring, another one that is similar, obviously, is the Heritage. And the Heritage has a different chassis. You know, it's a frame-mounted engine, so it's not quite as smooth. But if you're doing a lot of short-distance stuff and don't want to spend the money on this, you can get a similar experience with the Heritage. Now, one thing to note is if you look at the pricing for this bike and you look at the pricing for like a Road Glide or a Street Glide, you'll see that they're actually very close, which is probably why they don't sell a lot of these bikes. Because the price is so close to a fully fared bike, a lot of people will spend the extra about $2,000 or whatever to get kind of the next level up, I guess you would call it. I don't think it is. I like it this way. Again, if this were my only bike, I probably wouldn't get it because I do like having navigation. I like having full fairing. I do rides where I'm doing 400 or 500 miles in a day, and it's nice to have the entertainment center. You can add an entertainment center here. You can even mount speakers in here. They'll cut it and put speakers, and you can put some front speakers on if you want as well, and get kind of a mini Bluetooth system set up if you want with an amp. But I prefer not to do that with this bike. I have other bikes for that. So hopefully you enjoyed this. Here's another view, panned out a little bit, of this beautiful bike. And I would highly recommend you go take one for a ride. You might even want to try the Special. It's a little different. It's all blacked out. I think it comes with the 114, so it comes with a bigger engine. Doesn't come with a windscreen or the additional lights, but you can add some stuff and put it close if you want a little protection. But both of the bikes are great. So love the Road King. Check it out. Hope you guys are doing well. Stay safe. Keep your rubber side down. Take care.